Can we start our session? Who will come first? Priya Khanna, you will start.
Yeah, I can start.
Okay.
Can you just call some crowd so that I feel a little more motivated to? Would you want to just at least let them know?
You can start, ma'am.
I can start.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello everyone. Thank you for making me a part of this amazing platform and for giving me the opportunity to speak on creating personal definitions of enterprise and success. I'm a lawyer by profession, as you can see from the billboard behind me. I chose to study law after getting married and having 3 children quite late in life. I was a merit lister student and I stood 8th all over India for my 12th board exams, and hence I've always had a strong desire to feel more accomplished and worthwhile. It was my enterprising nature and the support of my wonderful family, some of which is sitting here, that I could achieve this milestone in spite of a lot of responsibilities that come as being a parent. I had the courage and the conviction to be the odd one out at law college, being married and all that, and find my course for the future. I felt I was finally creating a life I had dreamt of. I began practicing law with one of India's leading law firms, generating a lot of success. And a lot of money, of course, and I'm really proud of it. But as much as I want to talk about my success, I need to admit that I was unsettled most of the time at work. And that's so sad to me even now. Can you imagine spending 15 years of your life trying to become a success, trying to become this someone with a bold ambition, but when you actually become that someone, you realize that the person you become is not the person you really want to be. I didn't know back then how to achieve anything big in my life, while at the same time taking time out for my relationships, being myself, doing things in my own unique way, taking out time for relationships and just letting my creativity flow. I was all buttoned up, serious, and thought I had to act in a certain unauthentic way, please people, be formal, be aggressive, because that's the examples I saw around me. People will tell you, reach for the stars and you can achieve anything you want. But they don't mention that in the process, a comet might come and smack you and shatter all your dreams and all your efforts to succeed. I soon realized that I have to take personal responsibility for what I can change and for making myself happy. It was tough, but then after 15 years of struggle, I let it all go. I quit my job. Serious change needed serious courage. My quest for growth, as well as my enterprising nature, lured me to study image consulting and soft skills. Having spent several years in the corporate world, I understood the personal, professional, and social scenario. So I combined my legal skills to become a certified image consultant and a soft skill trainer. At the age of 50, another milestone, I launched my own consultancy enterprise by the name of Smart Souls, which has provided me a wonderful opportunity where every time I do my work effectively, someone else becomes more successful, more happy. I still continue to provide independent legal services with a niche focus on laws pertaining to sexual harassment. I've been advising several companies on their respective anti-sexual harassment policies, and I'm on the board of the internal committee of many such companies. I feel personally responsible for creating this legal awareness to this epidemic called sexual harassment that's spreading far and wide. I feel I have so much more to do in my life, so much more to learn, so much more to give. I'm so restless to achieve more. We live in a neoliberal society where our worth is largely determined by the work we do and how big we make it despite the social inequalities that exist. Everyone has a different definition of enterprise and ways of accomplishing their success. I also believe that the definitions that we come up may change as time goes and may be influenced over time by the examples and the insights of ordinary, extraordinary people, most from within our own circle. So, talking about enterprise, my take on what enterprise means to me. In my personal opinion, enterprise is 3 C's. The first C is creativity. You need to be creative to see what's out there, to shape it to your advantage. You need creativity to look at the world a little differently, to take a different approach. What goes hand in hand with creativity of enterprise is the second C, the courage to be creative. You need the courage to see things differently, to go against the crowd, to take a different approach, to stand alone if you have to, and to choose activity over inactivity. And lastly, being enterprising is having the conviction and the confidence, feeling good about yourself, having enough self-worth to want to seek advantages and opportunities that will make a difference in your future. So basically, in a nutshell, enterprise for me is the power to moving into action. That's my definition. It's my ability to respond. It's my going out and creating my life through my personal choices. But how does my being so enterprising gauge my success? Am I really successful? When we talk about successful person, we are typically talking about someone who's got billions in their bank account, someone who's authored a couple of books, or maybe someone who's in charge of an entire nation. But if you ask people who fit the conventional definition of a successful individual, many will tell you that those achievements aren't what really make them feel accomplished. If you were to look up the dictionary and look up the definition of the word success, you'd find something like this. Success is the accomplishment of a desired aim or goal. Well, that's fine for a starting point. Many people, though, choose to go a little more further. They personalize their definition of this word, making sure their own understanding of the concept of success is something that resonates powerfully within their own unique circumstances and the goals they've set for themselves. As Franklin Roosevelt puts it, success lies in the joy of achievement and the thrill of creative effort. So what is success to me? At the moment, it is simply to be able to spend my life in my own way. I no longer have a job, I have a lifestyle, and I'm miraculously working hard at it. I've never been happier because I love what I do. I'm fairly enterprising still. This means spending time and effort on things that fuel me and help me with a greater sense of purpose. It also means being able to wake up daily, passionate and optimistic about my day ahead, knowing that what I will do would positively impact somebody else. Great figures from history have helped me get a closer look at my personal definition of success. Winston Churchill said that success is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. Yes, I've lived through terrible failure. And yes, I'm still enterprising and enthusiastic. I also believe that we all have our own right to define success on our own terms. The people that I've admired most have always been the ones who made it a point to create and live their life with their own definition of success. One of the greatest things about success is that it's defined subjectively and can be achieved through various different paths. Warren Buffett's definition of success has nothing to do with fame or money. He says, I measure success by how many people love me. For my mother-in-law, success isn't about how much money you make. It's the difference that you make in people's life. If I were to ask you, Ellie, in one line, what is your definition of success? What would that be?
Being completely present with my children.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I think that's really authentic as well. So like I said, everybody has their own definition of success. Thank you so much. As for me, my heart resonates with Maya Angelou's take on success. She says, success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it. So though success can have multiple definitions, we can all agree upon a generally accepted one. A person is successful when he or she leads others to success, meets his or her personal and professional goals, creates something useful and innovative, and makes a lot of money if possible, while making a lot of people happy at the same time. Most of us would be actually happy if one or two areas of these are covered in our definition of success. So first, get clear what success is to you, so that you know when you reach it. That's really important. So there are millions of ways to be successful. You need to find only one that is yours. Like they say, shooting for the moon is great, but out there in the universe there are hundreds of moons. So make sure that the moon you're shooting at is your very own. Each of us is scripting our own success story in today's new age and world. It's time for us as women to rise up, speak up, and define our own definition of enterprise and success that honors ourselves as a whole, allowing us to be truly inspirations for generations to come. And though the taste of success is sweet, S-W-E-E-T, let me tell you, the secret of success is sweat, S-W-E-A-T. So don't give up ever. Let's just remember that it gets darkest just before dawn. You never know, the light at the end of the tunnel may be just round the bend. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now the next speaker we have is Ellie Rohn. Please, ma'am.
So as Priya mentioned in her talk, success is often defined by our peers because everybody's doing it. It's defined by our family, our culture, and the media. Everybody talks about what success is and what we should be doing in our lives. But I challenge you to break the mold of what you should do. Has anybody been told that in order to be successful, they have to own their own business? Show of hands. Has anybody been told that in order to be successful, you have to work a high-paying job? Success isn't defined by that paycheck. It's not defined by whether you own your own business or whether you work for someone else. You can find success in any position that you work on, no matter what you do. Would it be okay with you all if I tell you a little bit about myself and how I was raised?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. So my mother raised me to become a lawyer, to make a really big paycheck, to marry a man with a stable paycheck, to buy a big house, a Mercedes, and have lots of kids. So I joined the Air Force, which didn't make her very happy because that was not anywhere near being a lawyer. But during that time, I did settle down with a man who was also in the Air Force. So technically, we both had a stable paycheck, right? We started having a family. We bought a house. I moved up to Washington, D.C. and I got that big paycheck that my mom had always wanted. By that time, she was a little more proud of me, but I still wasn't happy. I ended up making $100,000 a year by the time I was 30, and I got very sick. I had 2 surgeries. I was the biggest weight I've ever been in my life, and I felt sick all the time because I was busy chasing someone else's definition of success for my life. So one day I quit my 9-to-5 job. Within a week, the color returned to my skin. I started to learn about who I am and what success felt like to me. And like I answered Priya, my most successful moment after quitting my 9-to-5 job was the moment that my son fell down the stairs and I was fully present. I didn't have to worry about going to work. I didn't have to worry about calling in sick. I was able to sit with him and enjoy every moment of calming him down, completely present as a mom. That defines success for me. I had a client recently who spoke to me on the phone, and she said that success for her would be making $100,000 in her business. And I challenged her to step away from the dollar amount and ask herself, what is it that you want to experience with that paycheck? What is that going to provide for your life? And how is it going to make you feel when you do achieve that milestone? And I promised her that with $99,000, she could do almost the same thing as $100,000. And she didn't have to achieve that mark to feel successful. Success isn't about that paycheck, but we've all been led to believe that it is. I'm curious, what's something that your parents told you that you had to do to be successful?
Work really hard and become something, become a name.
Right? Make a name for yourself.
Yeah.
What's something that your parents told you you had to do to be successful?
They just wanted me to marry a rich man and settle.
All right? I've heard that one a lot before.
And I heard both.
Right? So our parents often define something for us and tell us what we have to do to be successful. And has any of that made you guys happy? No? But finding your own definition of success is where you find that true happiness. So one of the things I want you all to ask yourself, and I'm going to have everybody close their eyes for a moment and take a deep breath. So if you all bear with me, close your eyes, take a deep breath in and out. And if you put everything aside, don't think about what everybody's told you to do. Don't think about how to pay the bills or how you're going to do anything. Just sink into yourself and think of the one thing that makes you feel really good, or the one experience that you want to have in your life that makes you feel full all over. For me, it makes my body tingle to experience different things in my life. That feeling, that experience is what success is for you. And it doesn't matter how you do it, the enterprising method that you choose, how you achieve that success. Having that moment in your life is exactly what success is. Feel free to open your eyes again. The second thing you can do with success is define what's one little step I can take to achieve that successful moment. And a lot of times for my mom, she wants to travel to a place in Alabama, and that's something she's wanted to do for 20 years. And I told my mom, why haven't you done it? You've had the money, you've had the time, and she always has all these excuses. It's the one experience that she wants, but she clings to those excuses. And so I challenged her, take one small step. It doesn't mean booking a hotel, but what about looking up how much it would cost to go on that trip? If you guys have a vacation somewhere in the world you've always wanted to visit, the first step is deciding, what do I have to do to get there? And then taking one little step after that. Okay, let me put a penny in a jar towards that vacation. Or if your idea is to want to stay home with your kids or start your own business, what's one step, little tiny step that you can take to move towards that experience, to do that thing in your life? Because that's all success is, one little tiny step at a time towards that star or that moon that you're aiming for. And I I wanted to wrap up by letting you know that you don't need anybody's permission to achieve success. Don't be afraid. One of my job is a fear strategist. Don't be afraid of what other people are going to think as you take these small steps towards success. I give you my permission to achieve success in whatever way that means, one little step at a time. And communicate with your families, with your friends, with whoever it matters to communicate with, so that you can let them know, I'm going here. And the funny thing is, as you go, some people will fall out of your life. But I promise you, it makes room for the better people in your life, the people who support you and get you all the way across the world to India to come speak at the Women's Economic Forum. It is incredible what happens when you decide what you want, that experience that you are going to have in your life, and that you're going to get there no matter what, even if it's just one small step at a time. In case you guys do feel you need permission, I have little gifts to remind you all that you are powerful enough to achieve whatever success you put your mind to. Thank you so much for listening to me today.
Oh, thank you so much. And I love gifts.
Oh,
Oh. Thank you so much.
you're welcome. Would you like fun?
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
That's so lovely.
Now the next speaker we have, Lies Causing. I think she is not present over here.
No.
She's not here, nor is Vibha.
No, is Vibha.
So should we call it a day?
Does anybody have questions that they want to
Yeah,
discuss?
sure.
Mind if we at least talk about something?
Yeah, Ellie, I'd like to know more about being a fear strategist. I mean, you don't need to get up. You just need to just tell me what is this fear? Though I read about it a little briefly, but it doesn't really come across very.
So oftentimes people go out and set out to achieve their goals, whether it's leaving their 9-to-5 job or writing a book or leaving a marriage or whatever that step may be, that big decision in their life. But a lot of times we get held back by our fear. I'm not going to be able to pay the bills if I quit my job. I'm not going to be able to provide a good life for my kids. What happens if I experience this? The definition of fear is the anticipation of pain. And it's funny because we often put ourselves in more pain being afraid than we do of just taking a step towards our goals. So I help my clients focus on their fears, figure out where the fears are coming from, and then step through them so that they can take the next step towards their goals. And then sometimes we have to do it again once we get to the next step.
Something that you coined yourself, it was your own experience that, or being an agony aunt to people helped you, or
One of a million things. I went through a lot of personal development, a lot of training through different programs. And I realized that so many people are out there talking about affirmations and goals and let's do it. And then I find people are afraid to talk about their fears because they don't want to make them real. Whether you talk about them or not, they exist. So let's get them out on the table and deal with them so that we can move on to the next thing. Thank you. Any other questions? For either one of us, obviously.
Yeah.
Ms. Khanna, your definition of enterprise is courage, conviction, and
creativity,
courage,
courage, and conviction and confidence. Conviction and confidence go hand in hand. So if you remember, it's like you give an acronym like fear. If you give enterprise, the 3 C's.
Right.
So it's easier to remember enterprise, the definition, if you just say, oh, there was 3 C's in enterprise. So it's easier for me to understand my definition.
I like that. Creativity, courage.
Confidence and conviction.
Okay, Priya, it was nice listening to you. You have been a legal consultant, which is a highly defined profession.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of hard work that goes on.
Sure.
So when you decided to quit, did you experience some kind of vacuum because you had qualified so highly and you had come down to something very simplified?
Yeah, sure. That's a wonderful question. Thank you. Actually, it took me almost about a year to finally sever my ties with the profession because like the fear factor, where am I going to get my paycheck, how am I going to pay the bills, what am I going to do with my life, this is all I know, it's a routine that's set, it's a 9 to 5, I'm good at nothing else, I don't have a hobby, I don't have a passion, I'm just not used to staying home, the kids are all grown up, nobody needs me home. So it took me a very long time, but that 1 year was making me more and more miserable because I was not being able to take the step, yet I was just seeing the whole, I felt my life was so miserable. I was not doing justice at my job, my work performance fell so badly, and I thought the name that I had made for 15 years was just depleting because I was just not paying attention. But having said that, the minute I put in my paper, it was so strange. It was like some of us might have experienced natural childbirth. You're in so much pain, but the minute the baby comes out, your pain vanishes. You know, I swear that's a very the analogy was like that. I put in my paper and I just said, I don't care. I was so relieved. I was driving back and I had this emotional catharsis. And nobody at home knew that today was the day I was actually going to put in my paper. I should carry my resignation but never have the guts to file it in, you know. And I just said, I don't care. And of course, when that euphoria died, there was a lot of lull. There was this wee bit of a depression because I had taken that step. And there was a little afterthought, have I made the right decision? But it came and went. I never ever felt full of regret or guilt or having given up because I knew somewhere I was not doing justice there anyway. So something better would come up and things just started opening up, but you have to give it time. It can't just happen overnight. So
I'm so glad you took that.
Yeah,
you welcomed and embraced.
You don't want to get out of your
phase.
comfort zone. You just feel that, this is life. This is, just being miserable. So
Okay, so you're a more happy person now.
Yeah, it's just about just being so authentic. I'm being real to myself. I may not be getting the paycheck, but I'm following my dreams. I'm open to suggestions. I can do my thing. I'm spending time with my kids, which I was really missing while they were growing up for so many years. And there's still anxieties, and money is always an issue. But then when I look back at it, I get so much in return.
At least the anxiety is not bogging you down.
Yeah. And my degree is always with me, in the sense, you once a lawyer, always a lawyer. And I'm still practicing a very niche area, like I mentioned. So there's a connect with law at the same time in anti-sexual. And that's another reason I felt like giving back, because this is such a new law and people are not well aware of it, and it's my way of giving back. I really want to talk about
And
this.
it's pretty critical also to
Very
corporates
critical
and
that
across sectors.
exactly. So
Wonderful.
it's just working out fine.
Okay. There was one chord that touched me very, very deeply. You said, I began to do something at 50, another milestone.
Yeah.
So that was really inspiring because, you're in your prime years of youth and you have so many ambitions and aspirations.
Yeah.
And you reach the peak or the pinnacle, at least this
Yeah.
benchmark that you've set, and then again you fall down and again you want to reach the peak again.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
But this time the peak is more mature and comes with a lot of thought.
But strangely, this is not
and
my
it's
peak.
your own peak.
It's
So
not.
that's
It's
lovely.
one of my peaks. Like I said, I'm still so restless. If today I'm talking to Ellie and she tells me, there's a course that you could probably do and enhance, I'm ready to take my chance on that. So I'm so excited about learning more. That, like I said, I was the odd one out at law college. I was married with 3 kids. Who goes to law college? But that was one milestone that I said, no, I cannot let I was a marriage lister, so what if I got married early, and things didn't have a close for me. That was one milestone. At 50, giving up my job, comfortable again. But I think at 60, you'll probably be hearing me again talking about another new venture that I'm on. So it's all about growth and finding your own happiness in whatever you can.
The first peak was set by somebody else. The second peak that you're aiming to reach is set by yourself.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of that.
Thank you you. We had a very nice session this time. Now we can wind up the session.
Okay.
Or any more questions you have?
Yeah, can I take a photograph of both of you?
Sure.
Please?
Sure.
I'm covering this event for
Again, we will have a group photograph also.
Sure, sure. You got the background? Guys, that's my husband Ashish.
Hello.
And he's the pillar. And he's the reason
Lucky you.
that all my milestones are being achieved. And my life is beautiful. So I owe him a lot. Please come.
No, finish your.
Hi, Mama.
We compliment.
All this will be connected with it.
Absolutely.
But not at this point.
Thank you.
Was wonderful meeting you, and you're speaking at 1:30, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. And thank you for moderating us. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Susan, nice
Just
meeting
like, don't worry
Oh,
about it.
did
Yeah,
you
why
want
don't we
my cards?
My socks. Yes, please.
No, but I need this as well. All versus events.
Oh, lovely. Hey, I gave you that. No, I didn't.
I didn't.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is happening over here,
Yep.
right? No, tango.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Welcome.